Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to have a lesson on evaluating the credibility of a source. When we're doing research about a certain topic, we may be using the internet to find information about that topic. I've put together this Padlet to show some great tools and resources for helping you feel more confident using information from the internet as a source for your research. Today our lesson is called Evaluating Sources for 8th Graders, and it examines the AASL standard A.V.2, which is reflecting and questioning assumptions and possible misconceptions. When we're doing research on the internet, it's easy to assume that any information we find is true and reliable. However, that is not always the case. We must learn how to determine how credible a source is and whether or not it's biased. Bias is when someone might be prejudiced in favor of or against a thing or a person or a group, or might be trying to influence you rather than just reporting the facts. After we go over all of these resources, I have a question that I want us all to think about, and we'll be having a discussion together about it. The question is located right here at the top of our Padlet, and it says, why is determining the credibility of a source important? So be thinking about that as we're going through these resources so we can talk about it together afterwards. Hopefully, after we go over these resources, it'll help you understand and have some good ideas to discuss with the rest of the class about why exactly credibility is important. I recommend that you start here with this short video about how to evaluate sources for reliability. It's less than 4 minutes long, and it gives a really great overview to the importance of and exactly how to evaluate sources for reliability. Underneath that, there's a link to a website called factcheck.org. It's a great place to go to check whether or not the information that you're finding has been proven true or false. You can search by subjects or by specific articles. Next to that, there is a link to an article that has a list of news websites that have been proven to publish fake news. It can be used to double check that your source has not been previously found to be publishing incorrect information. Up here, there's a link to an article about media bias. Remember, bias is when someone is prejudiced in favor or against something, and in the media, that means that you might not be getting 100% of the truth, but rather someone's opinion about something that they're trying to influence you towards. This website is really helpful for determining exactly how a resource might be using misleading information to sway your opinion. This next box that's titled "It's a Hoax" is a satire website where someone uses humor or irony or exaggeration to expose or criticize a problem or issue. It's false, but it's purposely false in order to prove a point. It's not a very pretty website, but it just goes to show that anyone with an idea or time on their hands can create a website about anything, regardless of whether or not it's true. This website looks rather official and deliberately misrepresents water as a chemical that could possibly harm humans. Right below that, there is a link to a chart that was put together about different sources of media and where they fall on a scale of liberal to conservative politically and whether or not they're considered reliable. Not just information and news can be altered or faked. And here we have a link to a video about checking whether or not a picture may have been changed or used in a way that intentionally misrepresents the subject matter. Right below that, we have a link to an infographic about really strong Google searches. It includes some strategies to help you to get the most out of your Google searches. Over here, we have a link to an article that includes actual extensions that you can add to your Google Chrome browser, if that's the browser you use, that will help you determine whether or not information and news from certain websites is real or fake. The last link, I think, is the most interesting. It is some really tough questions that we sometimes have to ask ourselves. These questions may help us to determine if what we are reading is biased or if it's deliberately inflammatory in order to create anger and division between people. It's very easy to find research that confirms what we already think, and it's very difficult to examine our own assumptions and consider that we might be in the wrong. This information is not just for research projects, it's also a skill that we can use in our everyday life. All forms of social media are susceptible to misleading information and have clickbait articles that might not be 100% reliable or true. I hope that these resources on the Padlet help you feel more comfortable and confident about using the internet as a source of information for research. There is so much information available that we really need to be focused on ensuring that we're using it in a responsible way.